And now, this week's edition of Big Face with your host, Samantha Jane Tilton.
Hey everybody, welcome to Big Face. I'm your host, Samantha Jane Tilton. My guest today is Colleen Kahl, president of Actors Connection in NYC, as well as Boss Babe and all these other amazing things. How's it going, lady?
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. I was so excited when you announced this podcast. I think it's just an awesome way for you to continue to connect in our industry. I know that you are a beloved person among the halls of Actors Connection. And that everybody knows your name and face within our walls. So I'm really stoked to see that you're taking all of your industry knowledge that you've learned from, you know, so many different facets of your experience and bringing it out to everyone in this forum. So rock on.
That was really nice. Thank you. That was like super nice. Thank you. You know, I love you guys.
We got love for you.
Dude, ditto. You know, it's so funny. Like I always say to people, like if I say one place, you know, I work at all different studios, but I'm like, I always feel so at home with you guys. And I always just feel so welcomed. And it's always such a nice experience when I'm there.
Oh, thank you. You know, we work hard. You know, at the end of the day, there's so many places where you can take classes. Yep. So the most important thing for us at Actors Connection is that you're not just getting classes, you're getting community, that you're at a place where you're respected and loved and celebrated and supported. So I'm glad that you're feeling that vibe because we really work hard to create it.
It translates over so beautifully. I felt it since I've been there, you know, and it's funny because I work at a bunch of different places and sometimes like it can be years before somebody even said hello to me at another studio or whatever. And you guys are like, Sammy! You know?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. So tell me, all right. So you just said, and I hope this is okay, but like, we were supposed to do this yesterday and you said you guys got hacked over at Actors Connection. What happened?
We did. So we have been very vocal and supportive of our Black actors right now.
Yeah.
They're a part of the AC family and, you know, we're standing up for them. And we held a panel the other day called Racism in the Entertainment Industry. And the panel was focused on talking about steps to move forward in a positive way in the future. And beautiful. The panel was fantastic. We had an extraordinary panel, casting directors, agents, actors, creativity coaches, life coaches. And we pulled together this great panel. We got started. We had about 250 people tuning in. We made it an open event because we wanted lots of people to be able to have access to this information for, you know, for their own personal support, for their own personal learning. We had tons of actors. We had tons of casting directors, agents, lots of industry also tuning in as well. And about, I guess, I don't know, maybe it was like a half an hour in, we were pretty well deep into the conversation. Yeah. And we were hacked by someone. It was horrific. It was horrific. They were able to take control over our controls that we had set on the event, mute themselves and spread a lot of hate in the moment. Every time we thought we fixed it and moved forward, they were able to get back in. You know, someone who had some technical knowledge to be able to do that. And I just found out yesterday that Yale had a similar panel about equity and equality, and they were hacked as well. So this is not just happening just to Actors Connection.
Oh my
it's
God.
happening to other companies who are trying to do this. We did run it up the flagpole.
Really bad.
It was terrible. And we ran it up the flagpole to Zoom so they know about what happened. I'm sure that Yale reached out to Zoom. I'm sure someone on the board of Zoom probably is a Yale grad.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that they're able to like track these people down and keep them from entering Zoom. We've heard some different philosophies. We heard that if you record to the cloud, that possibly they're getting in from that direction. We've also, you know, have heard, you know, if you title your event a certain way, that is what they're using to target events, you know, because we've been doing free open Zooms since March and haven't had an issue. And it's unfortunate that it was this event that had the issue. But our panel was wonderful. We ended up closing the big open panel and continuing in a private discussion just with AC staff, educators, and our panel. And we'll be releasing that recording so that way students can have
open.
access to the rest of the conversation.
That's so great. That's terrible that happened, but that's great that people will get to still hear what they didn't get to.
It just shows us like how much love our world still needs, that someone felt the need to spend their morning doing that. We've got work to do, and, everyone needs to be doing their part.
Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah.
I love that you guys are doing your part. And you even said, you've been doing open forums and stuff since March, and you've been doing the free at threes.
Yes.
You do them all the time. So I just have to say, people love you. Like,
oh gosh,
people adore you. They're like, she is fantastic. Like so impressed by you. And they're like, she loves the word dynamite. She says dynamite.
I do say that. I get that from my dad. I can't take credit for dynamite. Bob Finnegan can take credit for dynamite.
So funny. But are you enjoying it?
Oh my gosh, the free at threes. Originally we started it because AC completely closed down.
Right.
For about a month until we decided to start offering online programs. And, we needed that time to be like, how are we going to help our community right now? I mean, there's so much uncertainty, and we weren't sure what felt right because we wanted to make sure that everyone in our community took care of themselves first. And we wanted to make sure that we prioritized the right things first. So we took a beat, and honestly, I get bored really quickly. I got to be really busy or I lose my mind, Sam.
I know.
Yeah. So we had to get something going, and I was like, you know what, let's just do a free chat every day. And we started it right away, right when the industry closed down, right when we closed down. We started with a free chat at 3:00 that just allowed an industry guest to introduce themselves to a bunch of students and do a big free Q&A. And it's been really fun, and it's been a cool heartbeat during this time. And I know a lot of actors have enjoyed and appreciated it. And I actually know of some actors that got meetings out of these free at threes from contacting afterwards, which is so amazing. So
that is amazing. Total bonus right there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you get to, so you're involved in them all the time. You are just, you're hosting them. And
yes, I host all of them. For one of my pit bulls was in the animal hospital, so I had to pass it along to one of our staff members for one of them. But normally it's me.
How's your pit bull?
Oh, he's better. He's so much. He's like a cat. He's got 9 lives. He's extraordinary. We've got 2 pit bulls. I'm a big animal lover. I have 2 pit bulls, 2 cats, 1 husband.
I know my boyfriend always says to me, he's like, I know you love the cats more than me. It's okay. Like,
as long as they understand, right?
Not more, it's just different.
Yes, there it is. Yeah.
So that's wonderful. So you're keeping busy, and you guys at Actors Connection are keeping busy.
Oh yes. We've completely pivoted. We are now only offering online classes. So, that was a big adjustment, not just for our staff, but for our students. Our entire business model is completely different right now. And it just goes to show that you never know what life is going to bring to you. I was talking with Tony, Tony, one of our longtime owners of Actors Connection, the other day. And I'm like, Tony, did you ever think that we would be doing this right now? It's really unique, but isn't that life? If you have to be able to take what life is giving you and figure out, okay, well, what can I do with this? How can I adjust? How can I grow?
Yeah.
How can we learn from this? And you have to ask yourselves those questions and then take chances on new answers, and that's how you find success, and it's how you find happiness. We easily could have just sat with our heads in the sand and cried about it, but that doesn't make anyone's life better. I ate Oreos instead.
I know. And I think that's a great word. You said pivot. I really, I've had to pivot a lot. Like the podcast, I wrote you that it was supposed to come out before, and before all this happened. And then I did put my head in the sand and cried for a bit and felt totally like, what's the point? What's the point? This business is shut down and all that. But you know what? Then I realized, and I've shared this all the time, but in connecting with my fellow actors and casting directors and stuff, that I wasn't alone. And it was even that much more important for us all to stay connected, to be doing something, to be keeping this alive, you know?
Absolutely.
So I think it's so wonderful. And actors got meetings out of it. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
It's so cool. What, I love it. I like ask my brother as if he has a crystal ball. I'm like, when do you think is the earliest that life will go back? Like I ask him all the time. So what about now? Like when is life going to go back? And he's like, Sammy, I don't know.
You're like the kid in the back of the car. Are we there yet?
Are we there yet?
Are we gonna open yet? Can we open now? How about now?
Exactly. And I'm like, it's so great that you guys have found a way to do this for now. I mean, how do you see it? Because somebody asked me the other day about somebody that's not really necessarily in our world, but they're like, can you go back to work soon? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how that would work, just because in a casting, there's so many people in waiting rooms together. There's so many. Yeah. What do you think about it? I'm like, I couldn't tell you.
Well, you know, I think it's going to be different in every city. You know, there are some areas of California that's starting to come back.
Is that right?
Yes. Not I don't think really in Los Angeles. I think it's in outside surrounding areas in California. Atlanta, parts of Atlanta are coming back. Tyler Perry has started some really interesting ideas and concepts about how he's going to start running his productions again. Tyler Perry's brilliant.
Oh my God.
With that space and like, you know, I believe that there's housing for production in their studios. I mean, they've got tons and tons and tons of land in the Atlanta area. Yeah. So, you know, I think that is really going to be helpful for them because they can have a bit of more of a contained environment to make sure that, you know, everyone stays healthy on set. Yeah. So I think Atlanta's going to come back first before New York or LA. Theater is going to take a while. I think, you know, a lot of theater makers are looking at how can theater be done on virtual platforms in the meantime. I mean, nothing is better than sitting in a dark theater and watching a story that like gives you all the feels. Nothing is better.
There's nothing like that.
Come back. Theater people, I mean, like the most resilient people on the planet.
The show must go on.
I mean, it will.
Exactly.
It will. And eventually, you know, we'll get back to that. And I know that there's been lots of exploring theaters taking out some of their seats. So I know that I've heard a bunch of different possibilities there. Voiceover is rocking right now.
Right.
So if there's one thing actors should like dip their toe in right now is voiceover. Voiceover is still moving strong. We're starting to see commercials come back too. Oh, look at your little love bug. Hello, Furball.
He's this is Stormy. Go ahead, Storm. He wants to get through the little cube to go to the other side of the apartment. Bye, buddy.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think I heard one of our casting directors early on in the process, Chad Darnell. He's a CD from Atlanta, also a writer and an actor himself. And he mentioned that he thinks we're going to see a surge in indie film after this, projects that have less people involved, less people on set. I think he's absolutely right. So I would expect to see more indie work as well. I've also seen some of our actors in particular make some extraordinary things on their own. So we're also after this going to see a surge in an actor content creator. Any actors who have these production capabilities on their own, they're going to be worth their weight in gold after this, just because it's showing people that good entertainment can be created with limited resources. There's one film in particular, and I'll send it to you later, that two of our students made that like absolutely blew me away. And they both did it completely separately and filmed it on their own and edited it together into a beautiful story. So artists are amazing. I mean, nothing can stop an artist from creating something beautiful. Nothing can stop. If you have a will, you will find a way.
Wow, that's so moving, and it's so true. It's like it's, you know, if there's a will, there's a way. Like, you know, it's funny because my Big Face was supposed to just be a podcast, and it was not going to be a YouTube show. And like finding the bright side of things, it morphed into something different. Where in real life, if everybody I interviewed, it would be hard to find time to sit down with everybody. But this has given the opportunity to really sit down with people, and you know. And people get to see people and even feel more connected, which I just think is wonderful. Sorry, am I losing you?
To have that time and that flexibility, to be able to do that right now is awesome. Yesterday, during Free at 3, RJ McGee mentioned that, like networking, that's what you can be doing right now. Just network, meet people, jump on these free programs, collect resources, do research, watch an episode of every show that films in your city. There's so much that you can be doing right now to be proactive. So that way, once we're back to where we were before, you'll be so much more powerful.
You're exactly right. And that's what I'm like, I keep saying, this is great time. It's great preparation. Like I've learned so much just doing this show. I've learned so much. And, a close friend of mine, who is also an actor, we're starting to write a web series together, and it's exciting. We're coming up with all these things. And and it's like, you got to feed that creative. And the funny thing is like, I'm trying to let go of any outcome. Like you said, networking. I'm like, even in these interviews that I'm doing, even if it's just to connect with another person, some of these interviews, some of these talks are just, it's beautiful to talk to another person, to hear how they're doing right now, to see their face, like your face. I haven't seen your face.
Right.
It's really nice. It's just a really nice thing. It's lifted me through this time. And I think it's so I love that you're connecting people over there.
Awesome.
And kids. So you emailed me the other day. So kids are going to there's going to be a summer session for kids coming up soon.
Yeah. So we're prepping to announce our pivot back to that word that you like.
Yeah. Yes. I love it.
We're going to pivot our summer camp, and our kids just loved you last year. So we just had to make sure that we had a space for you in our camp this year as a teaching artist. And we're going to be doing a complete online camp. What's cool is like in person, we had a limited amount of guests that were going to be able to come in and spend time with the kids. But now that we're pivoting to a virtual platform, the kids are going to be exposed to way more industry guests. So the value is going to go boom, 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 boom. Our kids historically have crushed it in camp. We always joke around, like in our kids and teens program, that we constantly, have to build and rebuild because our kids get so much success so quickly.
It's crazy.
Really great.
So many of the kids, like I see, like I'm watching something and I'm like, damn, good for you. Like,
right. Yesterday in class and today they're on screen.
I know. It's really amazing. It really is. That's so awesome. There was something I was just going to ask you. Oh yeah. I was going to say, so I don't know. I was so impressed with you. I'm impressed with you always, but last time for the kids class, you wrote all the sides.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
And I just have to say, because they were so good. And and some of them were like serious and like on the darker side and like kids deal with real things in real life. And like you gave a taste of everything. You had comedy in there. You had real life difficulties. Like you wrote so beautifully for them.
Oh gosh, thank you.
And I was like, go ahead. I was like, no, please go ahead.
Oh no, it just, we needed great sides for these kids, and I had their pictures, and I'm like, well, something like this will work for this student, something like this will work for that, and it was quicker than searching for the right material for them. And
is it though? I mean, that says a lot about you. For a lot of people, it would be easier to find something or to just pick something, but you wrote them all.
I've been working, before my time at Actors Connection, I worked in arts education. So I had an arts education company. So I have a lot of experience working with kids in a performing arts capacity. So cool. I guess, years of experience made that piece easier. I understand how kids think as child performers and how they approach material and what material fits well for them.
Yes,
so,
you do.
Yeah, it just, I don't know.
It's just
beautiful. Kind of happened that way. I was like, oh gosh, we need good scenes. I've got kids in these age groups. I got to get something for them real quick. And, I wanted to find something that fit for them perfectly. Lots of times, kids it's interesting because there are some kids who end up in very adult projects with, themes that aren't necessarily appropriate for a class, because
exactly.
Parents need to be hyper aware of the projects their kids are involved and make sure that they have the right conversation. So the kids have the right message leaving from that project, working with certain dialogue, certain themes, certain contexts. So I wanted to keep it pretty rated G. So
But you didn't like, it wasn't all sugary. It was like, it was challenging too. It was just really, I was so impressed, and I just had to like, I never forgot that. Cause I didn't, I know you for Actors Connection, but like, I was like, wait, are you a writer? Like, do you write? Like, I didn't know.
I only dabble. I have like a couple little projects that I've dabbled on that we've done readings of at Actors Connection, but never really pushed on it. Maybe one day. Life has been really busy though, so maybe one day.
Yeah. So what else? How else has this time been for you? Have you had any time? I mean, you've been like really busy with Actors Connection. So like, have you had time to do other things?
I got into gardening a little bit.
Did you?
So I'm doing a little bit of gardening. My mom has always really loved gardening, and I've got a lot of flowers for my deck, and I've been tending to that. So doing a little bit of that.
That's really awesome. That's something like you suburbs. You have a little
space.
I'm
a Jersey girl. Yep.
Yeah, I love that. being in Queens, I don't really.
Like,
I got like a little thing this big and like a little planter. And filled it with like dirt from outside the apartment and like just have it there.
Yay, Earth.
It's really funny. Yeah. So, I want to get on the Free at Threes also. I've been on one of them. Yeah. And, it's so good. It's funny because there's so many people that I know that are on them, and it's just like,
we should have you come on to talk about your podcast and how you develop that now. Yeah, we would love that. So
I would love it.
I'll send you some dates.
I love that. I love that. That's awesome. I would really love that. Yeah, it's been a really awesome experience, totally learning wise, and just, I feel like it's opened me up in a different way, which is kind of what I always say to people, like, listen, like when you're listening to these, Free at Threes, listen to people. Don't just look for the one thing that you want to hear, because you never know. Hi, cutie. Somebody barks.
Oh, yeah. Of course, my husband's not home and she wants to go out of the house. Are we allowed to have a 10-second intermission for me to open?
We absolutely can. I'll pause. So everybody, we're going to pause. We're going to let doggy do pee-pee, and we'll be right back. What is your dog's name, by the way?
Demi.
Demi?
Demi.
All right. So
sometimes we call her Demo because she's like a demolition ball.
So for those of you watching, listening, so Demi is still on her pee-pee break. So we're just going to chat until, she feels like coming back in. So, so being in the suburbs, so your husband's out right now?
Yes. So he owns a garage, an auto repair facility. So yeah, Saturdays he's open. So he's at work. He doesn't come home till like around 12. Yeah.
12.
He's 6 days a week kind of dude. 12 noon, not midnight.
I was like, geez, like that's a lot.
He works hard, but that's like really pushing it.
It's like really hard. Do you guys have anything going on during the weekend? Are you working with Actors Connection today, or?
No, I usually, do a little work in the morning. My brain is in the morning, so even Saturday mornings I'll do a little work. But I think this weekend we are staining the deck. Very excited.
Nice. That's very meditative, though. I feel like that's a nice thing.
Yeah, we'll see, right? I'll let you know.
Like, no.
I think if I was doing it by myself, it might be meditative. But I have a lot of energy. My husband has more energy than me. So I don't know if us doing it together will be meditative. We will find out.
Play really good music. And yes. I feel like then it would be fun. My boyfriend and I were like trying to, one of my cat's hairs is just all over my face. We were trying to like organize and minimize yesterday. And it was like, music makes all the difference when you're doing something, something you have to do. So what else? Is there anything else that you want to talk about or share today?
Oh gosh, let's see. We've got a couple of cool things running right now. For the next couple of weeks, we're offering scholarships for Black actors. So if you're interested in, taking classes at Actors Connection, we're giving $100 in scholarship money each week to a different Black actor. So actors can submit by going to submissions@actorsconnection.com, sending us an email with micro scholarship in the subject line, and just send us a self-tape of you doing your craft, something you love, a video, a short scene, send us whatever, a monologue. So we've got that going right now. We also started our
Awesome.
Activate Your Voice program, where we are accepting submissions for projects, ideally filmed and theater projects. And we are going to be selecting one project, and one of our owners will be investing $5,000 into that project. So we've got that coming up too.
You said theater,
Theater,
film,
TV, short films, indie features, we're open. So, send us your pitch. For more details on that, feel free to just email me. If someone's watching this later, just email me and I can send you the list that needs to be in your proposal. I'm just Colleen, Colleen, at actorsconnection.com.
And any info, I'll post along with this episode.
Oh,
so
great.
Like,
awesome.
So any links, any of that info, I'll write it out so that everybody can see it, which is
Dynamite.
perfect.
Thank
yeah,
you. There's that
word. That's so cute that that's your dad's word.
Yeah, I stole it. Don't tell him.
Have you seen family and stuff during this time?
Yes. My parents actually don't live that far from me, so we've had lots of
nice.
social distanced visits in their backyard.
Very nice.
As well as in my sister has a big backyard too. She's a little further north, so we've seen her too. So yeah,
That's really
mostly
nice.
outdoor visits. Keeping it safe. But
Yeah.
Now that they've started to
Listen.
allow small groups gathering, we'll probably be able to do it a bit more.
That's awesome. I'm planning I want to plan like 30, but I'm planning camping trips because I love camping.
Yay!
So if you and your husband feel like going camping for a weekend, it's right on the river. It's
fun.
It's amazing. It's amazing. You should get away from technology. It's just really wonderful. So if you guys, we were going to come, my boyfriend and I, we were going to at some point come out to Asbury Park.
Yes, you're going to come visit us.
So we'll do that at some point. But if you guys want to go into nature and do camping this summer at some point, we'll do that.
Nice. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fun as hell. So I have a portion of Big Face that is called The Feather in Your Cap. Okay. And by feather in your cap, I mean a success or an achievement or something that you've learned that has helped you or might help you in the future. And I wanted to see if there's something that you'd be willing to share to give our viewers and listeners a feather to put in their cap.
Oh, I love that. That's so great. Yes. I would say that in whatever you do, lead with love. And that means leading with love when it's easy to lead with love and you're easily surrounded by people you love. And that means lead it with love when it's hard, because if you are always coming from a place of compassion, and not just compassion for other people, but compassion for yourself, you will ultimately make beautiful decisions and your intentions will always be pure. So if you can always, in everything that you do and you say and your work and all the things that you pursue, if you can lead with love, you'll be moving in a beautiful direction.
That's a nice feather. Wow. Yeah. That's a good one. That's really beautiful. I feel like that's something that I tell when I'm teaching and stuff. I tell my students, it's very easy to look at a character that you're going to play or look at something and have some kind of judgment or think how you're different. Mm-hmm. But if you find the love, if you can connect on a human level to whatever the character is, like to have compassion and love for, even if they're quote unquote a monster, to have love and compassion for the pain that they must be feeling. Mm-hmm. That's, I think, so what you said, I think it applies to life, to craft, to everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that, when in doubt, I'm like, well, what's the loving answer here? What's the most loving response? And that has always helped me feel good about the action I'm taking or what I'm doing or how I'm responding to something. And it really does help you get unstuck. When you're in a rock and a hard place and you ask yourself, well, what is the most loving outcome from this? And it helps you feel good about standing behind whatever your decisions are. At the end of the day, as someone who, is making decisions for a business that's been around for many years and, for actors who are making decisions based off of your career, you're never going to make everyone happy ever. You can't do it. You can't do it. But if you can just constantly just make loving decisions, the path will feel pretty good along the way.
That's beautiful. And it's so true. There's not, I'm thinking of this is a funny thing, but I'm thinking of the Seinfeld episode where Jerry's mom is like, who couldn't like you? You know, like, and it's like, not everybody's going to like you no matter what. You could be wonderful and amazing. Mm-hmm. You could remind somebody of their stepsister, whatever. And so as long as you follow your heart, I think that's staying true, staying loving. That's a beautiful thing. Thanks you for that.
Asking that question. I like that question.
I like that answer.
There's my feather.
That's what I love it. Thank you so much. What
You're
else?
welcome.
And tell me anything else you want to tell me about. You seem great. You look great. You sound great.
Thanks.
You're keeping busy and helping people, and I love it.
Yeah, keep it on. You know, it's an interesting slice of life, and you know, I have this philosophy. I think you're going to dig this, so I'm going to share it with you. I think before like we get to this planet, our souls make agreements about what we're going to do and what we're going to accomplish and who we're going to be with and the things that we're going to live through. And I don't know, I was thinking the other day that I think all of our souls signed up to be here during a pandemic. We're like, oh, okay, pandemic. Yeah, I'll see how I do during that. Sure. I'll give it a shot. So, you know, thinking about it from that way, it's like, all right, well, I want to, you know, do my soul justice and see what this situation can teach me and how I can become a better person during this time, during this interesting slice of life that is filled with anxiety, that, you know, it feels very different and that has changed so many people's lives in pretty insane ways, you know? Yep. So, you know, I just think, okay, you know, think about why your soul could have signed up for this and what you think you can do during this time to, you know, make the world a better place.
I love that. I love that. And I think, it's really beautiful. And it reminds me, I was speaking to somebody else during an interview and we were just talking about how powerless we are, you know, like we have no control over any of this or anybody or anything that happens right now, but to find the gratitude to like, yeah, I wonder if,
and that's it. Finding the gratitude. That's where your power is.
Yep.
You know, going back to those spots in your heart. That's where the power is, you know?
It really is. Yesterday I was walking, my boyfriend and I went to go pick up like groceries and I got in a really bad mood, right? I was in a great mood all day.
No.
Never. It gets so extreme. The tub like was like not draining and I was like, no. And I just like was so mad about the tub not draining. And I got in such a bad mood. And then I was like, we were walking and I'm like, can we both back and forth name 10 things we're grateful for? And we just walked down Queens Boulevard and we went back and forth and we each said 10 things we were grateful for. And then we just did 11, we were like, and one for good luck, you know, like,
right.
And it shifted my mood.
Yes.
It really did. I love that we signed up for this.
Are you a law of attraction fan?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're like,
yeah.
It's so interesting. I know.
Yep.
It's funny when you could sense something, right? When you're just like, yeah, I get you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know, I had a couple conversations with some industry guests because there are more of us law of attraction folk in our industry. And, you know, that's something that I've been kicking around the back of my head. So I'll reach out once we have concrete ideas there about, you know, taking law of attraction and bringing it to artists because, you know, what you look at, what you think about, it is creating your life, you know? So you need to have dominion and good control over what you're going to let in there and what you're going to let in here because it's shaping things so much more than you understand. So of course you're one of those.
Of course, my girl. We're going to talk more.
Yes.
I think it was Louise Hay. Hay that said, it's either her or anyway, but what you pay attention to grows.
Yep.
And that's exactly it. So when I'm negative and I'm in that space, I'm going to spiral into that space, you know?
And kudos to you that you knew, okay, I need to pull myself out of this because this is not serving me. Being angry doesn't serve me. So, okay, great. All right, I'm going to my partner who, you know, helps me get out of this space and I've got an idea of what we can do. And then you let yourself pull yourself out instead of living in that lower vibration, lower energy place. Good for you. Yes,
Thank you. Practice, right? We practice every day. Some days better than others. That's it.
Totally.
You're so awesome. It's so nice to talk to you.
So good talking to you. Anytime. Call me anytime.
Yes, ditto. We're going to talk law of attraction. I definitely would love to come and talk about the show and the pod. And we'll probably have you on, depending how long this goes on. Like, we'll see where things are at a little bit. We'll talk again.
All right. That sounds great.
So for everybody tuning in, thank you. You can't thank her, but you're thinking it. So thank you, Colleen Kahl. Thank you so much for being here. And tune in next week. And if you want to support us and keep this thing going, like, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. We love you. We thank you. And love and thank you so much. It was beautiful to hear you today. Thank you.
Thank you.